Welcome to the news of the week on the Evo India YouTube channel. And this week we've got a bunch of cars we're talking about. It was actually a very heavy news week. And we're starting with the fact that Volkswagen now has a manual version of its Virtus 1.5.
And apparently that's a result of all the feedback that Volkswagen have got from you guys, viewers, people on social media, actual customers. Everybody right from the start asked for a manual Virtus, and that's why Volkswagen have now introduced it. So they showcased that at the media event in Kochi, and now the prices are out.
Yeah.
You can go and book it. They also have some special editions in terms of colors.
Yeah.
And apparently the demand for that has been so good, the pre-bookings for that, that it is sold out for the next 2 months.
Wow.
So right now they're taking bookings for, I believe, August or something like that.
Yeah.
So those special editions, which is basically just color,
Yeah.
but that actually has been faced with good demand. And of course, the manual Virtus.
Yeah.
Now,
And there are updates to the Taigun lineup as well.
okay,
So the
which is what
gaps-
we're going to talk about
Yeah.
also. But the manual Virtus. Now,
Yeah.
I want to talk about that for a bit.
Yeah.
Now, people have asked for it. I thought that at the media event, when they said that, no, this is a result of customer feedback, I thought, okay, chalo, bolne ke liye to bol rahe. But apparently it is true that people have been asking for it. But will actually people put their money on it? That's something that I'm waiting to watch to see, because I don't think it's going to be more than 10-15%, because people can say whatever they want on social media, but eventually when they want to buy it,
Yeah.
will you actually buy a manual? Now, I know that you are using the manual Slavia with the 1.5 engine, but if I were to put my money down in that segment, I would definitely buy either the Slavia or the Virtus. Because
Unless
I
you want to
think
win
they're
drag
great.
races.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that also, or we might not even talk about that.
Yeah.
But if I were to put my money down, it would be between the Virtus or the Slavia. Both are the same. It's just
Correct.
whichever styling you prefer, whichever brand you prefer. But I would buy the DSG, because in day-to-day driving, manual, who is going to keep rowing through gears? One added stress point, added effort. The DSG, it shifts quick. It doesn't compromise on fuel efficiency. It is refined. There is a bit of that initial jerkiness that is endemic to all DSGs, but I think it's
So when I drove the DSG, I've gotten really used to the manual. And when I drove the DSG, I found a lot of urgency. Every time you get on the throttle, it's very urgent. The manual allows you to meter that urgency a little bit.
Yeah, but Aatish, human beings are the most adaptable creatures.
That's true.
When you drive a new car, the brakes either feel soft or
That's
they feel
true.
sharp. And in
100%.
an hour, it feels normal.
100%.
So you get used to that, right?
But I think where Volkswagen's coming from with this is they probably had a bunch of people who came to their showrooms, said, hey, do you have a manual? Maybe for the cost factor of it. DSGs are expensive.
Yes.
And when Volkswagen told them, no, we don't, they probably went to Skoda and picked up a Slavia.
Maybe.
You know? So to capture that audience back,
Yeah.
they're probably launching the manual.
And I think what Volkswagen have done in differentiating the 1.5 with the GT line, with the
Yeah.
GT badge, and that small styling tweaks,
Yeah.
that is a very smart decision.
100%.
Because now your Slavia, you're driving the 1.5, you're driving the manual, whether manual or DSG, whatever. You're driving the 1.5, but your 1.5 looks no different from the 1 liter.
Absolutely.
And if somebody's spending 2 lakhs more for a more powerful engine, a more N2 engine, you want to make your car also look more powerful and more N2, right? And you want people to know that you've actually spent a little bit more money.
Definitely. Yeah.
And I think Skoda have done themselves no favors by sticking with that strategy. When the Kushaq was launched,
Yeah.
that's very first time I told them that this is not right. Have some differentiating factors. They have the Monte Carlo now,
Yeah.
but the Monte Carlo you can buy it with the 1 liter or the 1.5. So again, there is no differentiating between the 1.5 and the 1 liter, which is very strange. And VW, in differentiating 1 liter and 1.5, they are actually making a meal of the segment. They are actually doing much better in terms of their volumes. Now, Skoda obviously have a business plan which calls for more volumes from the plant. So that's why their numbers are slightly more than Volkswagen. But Volkswagen dealers are finding it easier to sell their cars, their India 2.0 cars. And I know that because I know dealers, Skoda dealers and Volkswagen dealers, and you get a relative sense from the market. So I think Skoda should be doing something like that. Maybe have an LNK, right? And maybe that LNK is then exclusive to the 1.5.
So Volkswagen goes the sporty side, Skoda's going the luxury
The
side.
more luxury side. And that could be a good differentiator between the two in-house rivals. Because as I see it, what is Skoda's rival? What is the Slavia's rival?
So
Yeah, the
Virtus.
City, the Verna and all that. But the main rival is the Virtus.
Yeah.
And even more so with the SUVs.
It's like how in Formula One, your biggest rival is your own teammate.
Yeah, but here, like the Kushaq and the Taigun, they are the only ones which are straight up competing against each other.
Yeah.
They can't compete with the Creta. They
Yeah.
can't compete with the Grand Vitara. they're competing against themselves. So they need a little bit more in terms of differentiate. The styling obviously is differentiated, but in terms of driving, both are the same and both are very good.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's something that needs to be relooked in terms of strategy. Of course, I'm no expert in that, and I could probably be talking rubbish. But at least by observing things, this is what I think. And also, we have to talk about the GT Edge versions. Now, again, out there, Volkswagen have stuck with the GT badge. GT means 1.5, so it's clear, right? GT means the more powerful 150 bhp engine. 148 bhp, 150 horsepower engine. But now you can get a more affordable DSG in the Taigun. The DSG is expensive, like you said.
Yeah.
So now you have a more affordable DSG, which is great. And you have a more expensive manual also, right?
Yeah. Wait.
Yep.
Yeah, you do. You get the GT Plus with a manual. But that's not the Edge. The Edge is separate from that.
Yeah. So you get a more expensive manual, which earlier was in the GT minus or whatever.
No,
they used
so
to
basically,
call it.
previously there were two slabs in the GT range. You had the GT base and then you had the GT Plus.
Yep.
The GT base had your manual, the GT Plus had your DSG.
Yep.
But they've basically filled out both segments. So now the GT base gets manual, which it had, and DSG, and the G Plus has DSG, which it had, plus a new manual. So both GT base and GT Plus get manual and auto.
So net, whatever equipment level you want, you will get whether it is an automatic or a manual.
Correct.
Earlier it wasn't so.
You're spoiled for choice now.
Yeah.
You have every transmission at every trim level. So
if you want to cool your butt and shift your gears manually with the 1.5 liter engine, Volkswagen will let you do that.
Absolutely.
So you're sorted.
Yeah. But then Skoda did that from launch.
Yeah, and Skoda has been doing that from launch. Which actually, cycling back to my very first thought, that if people are so excited about a manual Virtus, the Slavia has always had a 1.5 manual.
So we should find out what Slavia manual sales are doing.
Yes, we should.
That will probably give us a better idea of why Volkswagen launched the manual.
Yeah, so when everybody's saying, yay, Virtus manual, but hello, Slavia manual has always been there.
Slavia manual.
How much? So you wanted that because you wanted better fuel economy. But how much really are you going to save with a manual over a DSG? A DSG also gives you great economy.
Get great fuel economy.
Like what?
I've seen journalists from other magazines put up stories on their Instagram complaining about DSG fuel economy.
So how much do you get with your Slavia 1.5 manual?
On the highway?
In the city, daily use?
11, 12. 11, I can get 11 on a good day. With Pune traffic.
Okay, and on the highway?
16, 17.
So a DSG would give you around
highway,
that much?
Yeah, on the highway it's about the same, but I think in the city the manual is a little better.
Maybe you're also driving with a very careful foot.
A little bit of hypermiling in the city.
Hypermiling. So that's the Volkswagen special editions.
Yeah.
More launches this week. The BMW M2.
M2, but let's talk about the G-Class first. I think that's more...
Oh, G-Class.
Yeah. So G-Class has been
launched.
launched.
Some money.
400D now, not the 350D anymore. But it's gone, 1 crore more than the 350D used to be?
It's unbelievable. The way G-Class prices are
2.5 crores or something like that.
It's unreal. So 2.5 crores for the diesel G.
This was what the G63 was at 2-3 years ago.
So the headline is that the diesel G is back.
Yes.
Because the diesel G was not available to book also for a while. You could only get the G63. So if you wanted a G, you had to get the AMG for yourself. Yeah. Now that was a couple of years ago, 2.5 crores. The diesel was 1.5.
1.5,
Yeah, 1.5.
Ex-showroom this is.
Ex-showroom, yeah. Now, the diesel G is almost the same price as a G63 a couple of years ago.
Correct.
It's unfreaking believable. Yeah. And demand has been good.
Obviously. It's a G-Class. I mean...
Bloody hell. At these prices...
Stronger than time, no?
Stronger than time, stronger than your bank account, stronger than a safe deposit vault. It's unreal.
Yeah.
And you notice that in across SUVs, sports cars, luxury cars, the very expensive versions are not lacking for buyers.
Yeah.
I'm following, I think, the McLaren Mumbai handle, Infinity Mumbai handle. Every second day there's a delivery, man. And this is a pretty McLaren 4 crores, 5 crores. And now, obviously, because I'm following them, some other random accounts keep popping up where today some 4.5 crore McLaren has been delivered. And people are buying. The i7. I believe i7 demand is through the roof. BMW cannot get enough of the i7.
It's a great
i7
car.
is an awesome car. Not a great car, it's an awesome car. But it's also a 2 crore car plus taxes.
Yeah.
But people are buying. So in that super luxury segment,
Yeah.
post-COVID, things have become nuts. People are buying.
But honestly, I'm excited for the diesel G to be back because I've always said that I prefer the diesel G to the G63. I think it
Definitely.
has a stronger daily use case to it.
Yeah.
It's more comfortable. The way it puts down its power is much nicer.
Yep.
It's refined. It's a nice diesel engine.
Yeah.
It
And if
has-
you get a long-termer, you won't have to ask for a manual to save some fuel.
yeah, that also. But I love the diesel G. I think
Yeah.
it suits the character of the G much more, that diesel engine.
Yeah.
The AMG is entertaining and all of that. It's great as a show car, a
Yeah.
statement. But then to drive and to enjoy a G, the diesel is actually superb. And this one has a little more power also, I think. So
Obviously,
yeah.
it is actually the most powerful diesel engine that Mercedes has put in a car.
Wow, okay. So there you go.
It is actually a powerful diesel
Yeah.
engine. The 350D did not lack for power.
Not at
In
all,
fact, when we did a couple of the AMG Emotion tours, in the lead car, I was driving the black G350.
Boss gets to pick, which car he gets to drive.
And that was, it could keep pace with all the AMGs.
Absolutely, yeah.
I didn't really sit to
With
struggle.
the aerodynamics of
a brick.
Yeah.
Of a brick, man. Of a brick. It's got the aerodynamics of a
Yeah.
brick. But yet you could keep pace. Why? Not because it could out-accelerate the AMGs, but you didn't have to slow down for bad
Correct.
patches.
Yeah.
You could see further ahead. You could,
it's
plan your
unreal,
overtakes.
that car,
and,
not to drive.
and to drive, seriously, like you said, no, the G, the feel that it gives you, the feels is unparalleled. And whether it is the AMG, listen, the AMG is also super entertaining.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Definitely.
ballistic. It makes all kinds of
And those
orgasmic noises.
side-mounted exhaust.
Yeah, you floor it, and the entire car's like, whoa!
And the whole neighborhood is like, what is
Man,
going on?
It's manic, it's hectic, it's entertaining. It's everything you would want from a car.
Absolutely.
And I guess if you had bought a G 2 years ago, if you had bought a G350 when it was launched,
Yeah,
it would have appreciated in value.
probably.
It's like a fixed deposit. It's better than a fixed deposit.
Yeah.
Just imagine. And talking about fixed deposits, just going completely off track, a Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
I just heard a 9-year-old Land Cruiser, which had done 190,000 kilometers, bought for 1 crore.
190,000.
190,000 kilometers, bought for 1 crore, sold for 90 lakhs.
That's unbelievable.
Oh, man. We should have
Imagine-
done all this, right? We
Yeah.
are supposed to be journalists. We should have our pulse on what is happening.
Yeah, that foresight.
And we should know what is happening 5 years down, 10 years down the line.
That's basically like a free car. No, you spend
Yeah.
10 lakh rupees to drive a Land
Exactly.
Cruiser for 20 lakh 2 lakh
1
kilometers.
lakh
Yeah.
90,000 kilometers.
Unbelievable.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Now before I start moaning more about this, let's move on to the next.
Okay, now BMW M2.
BMW M2 with
Yeah.
a manual gearbox.
Manual gearbox.
You pay extra for a manual gearbox. Look at what the world has come to.
Unbelievable.
Right? Automatics don't sell as much in India. Obviously, the proportion is going up rapidly, but they don't sell that much because people have to spend a little bit more for an automatic compared to a manual.
Yeah.
Now, people in the sports car segment have to spend, I think it's a lakh or a lakh and a half more
Yeah.
for a manual gearbox compared to an automatic.
Yeah, because they're selling the manual to a hardcore enthusiast who'd be willing to pay for it. No? They can make some money on it. Why not?
So I didn't drive it much.
Yeah.
I just drove it very briefly. You did the test.
Yes.
That brief drive was entertaining.
Absolutely.
It was okay. I thought that the gear shift needed a little bit more effort, and I did tell you, right?
Yeah,
That
the clutch, you
BMW
told
should call Porsche and ask them how they make their
Yeah.
gearboxes that much smoother and all that. But come on, that gearbox was really,
Yeah.
really nice. What about the driving? How was it?
It's unreal.
Yeah.
It's so good. So the BMW M2, it's always been a compact, fast, entertaining sports car, right? Coupe. It's basically going back to BMW's roots when you think about
Yeah.
what it is, right?
Yeah.
And
The size of an original M3.
yeah, exactly. And in this world where everybody's talking about BMW's forgotten who they are, what are they doing, looking at the i7, the amount of comments you get on social media. I've written in my i7 story as well. Just flip a few pages and you'll see the BMW M2. And BMW's preserving their legacy. So you don't worry about that. Let them do what they're doing with the i7. The M2 is such a good car to drive. When you think about the engine, it's fast, it's entertaining, it's got good sound.
It makes the right noises.
Yeah, it's got good sound.
Artificial, but
Whatever. It
What the
sounds
hell?
good.
Yeah.
I sit in the car, I'm happy.
Yeah.
The way it delivers its power is superb. Since it's a manual, I actually realized this because it was a manual. You actually sometimes feel the lag because you don't shift as often as the automatic. You're not on it as much as an automatic is. So sometimes you'll be out of lag. Then you got to remember, shift. So you feel the character of the engine a little more.
You have to remember when you get into the car, you have to press the clutch to start the car.
Yeah.
Because normally you get into a BMW, press the brake and you start, and you're wondering, why is it not starting, man? Why is it not starting? Oh shit, it's a manual. Press the clutch.
Completely. And the dynamics, quick to steer, nimble on its feet. It's heavy. It's some 1700 kilos.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's a really heavy car. But behind the wheel, you don't feel that because what they've done with the chassis, the agility that it has, it's too good.
It wags its tail?
It does. You put it in MDM mode, you get around a corner and it'll slide out a little bit. I'm sure if you put it completely off, it'll do nice, long, smoky drifts and all of that. But what a thing it is. And okay, ride is a little firm, but inside the cabin is really comfortable. The rear seats are usable. You've got 2 doors. You have to flip the front seat forward to get in the back. But once you're in the back, you actually have enough knee room for an adult to sit in. Okay, you can't stretch out, but you can sit, But who cares about practicality in that car?
And under a crore works?
The thing is, I'm looking at this from the perspective of the last M2. The last M2 was 85 lakhs. It was great value. This is now a crore, 15 lakhs more than before. Not as ridiculous a price increase as the G-Class, but 1 crore doesn't sound as enticing as 85 lakhs. I'd still want one. You don't get cars like that.
And it's got a manual gearbox. You love it. It'll save you some fuel.
Yeah.
Speaking of, save the manual.
Save the manual. Yeah. Save some fuel in the process. But you don't get cars like that anymore. No, they're pure driver's cars. ICE, small footprint, compact, makes the right noises, drives the right way. It's usable on the daily because short wheelbase. You don't have to crab over breakers and stuff like that. You can actually use it every day in the city. Those crazy breakers getting out of Pune towards Lavasa, no trouble. It didn't scrape anywhere. Normally these performance cars, even if you're careful with them, one off, you'll go around and you'll flinch a little bit. Nothing. Nowhere.
So the M340i at 68, 70 lakh rupees and this at a crore, 30 lakhs more.
30 lakhs more.
Is it worth 30 lakhs over the M340i?
I think it depends what your priorities are, honestly. Because the M340i is still a great car to drive. Okay, it's not as focused as the M2. But that's because it's more practical. It's got 2 more doors. It's got better ride comfort. It's got practicality. It's got the ground clearance. The M340i is still a lovely car to drive. This is just more focused. It's more of a toy, which you can use on the daily. The M340i is more of a daily that you can have fun in. That's how I would look at it.
Horses for courses.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. What's next?
I have to check my list. The Volvo C40.
Okay.
That launched in India.
So
not launched, but showcased.
They're going to announce prices in August and deliveries in September.
Yeah.
And that is basically an XC40 with a SUV coupe roofline.
Yeah.
It's got twin motors. That's why it's called the C40 Recharge Twin. It does 0 to 100 in some 4.7 seconds or something like that.
Correct.
So it is proper fast. I remember driving the XC40 Recharge and that was proper fast.
Yeah,
so
that was fast.
This is slightly faster because it makes slightly more power.
It makes the same power, I think. 402 bhp and 660 Nm. It has more range though, I think.
Okay, it has more range. Yeah. Correct. It has more range. So this will be a hilarious little electric car to drive around.
Absolutely. I loved the Volvo XC40 when I first drove it. I thought it was hilariously fun. It's small and it's fast, and that's the perfect recipe for any car.
Now, with a Volvo, you're not supposed to talk about speed, right? Because Volvo around this whole thing of their cars are not going to go more than 200 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, but they didn't say how slowly they'll accelerate, no?
Yeah, so they are okay with reducing top speed, but you can get to that speed really fast.
Yeah, absolutely. 4.7 seconds is
it's proper fast.
Quick.
Yeah,
it's M340i type fast.
Exactly.
So
and I've driven that XC40 and the first time you floor it and
that immediacy of it.
Yeah.
All-wheel drive and all of that. This I think looks cool. It looks
obviously even the XC40 to me it looks nice.
No, but that
this one, exactly. This one with that SUV coupe roofline. I think it's a cool looking car.
Yeah.
It's a little small in terms of size, in terms of space, but I guess an audience might be there for it. Have you seen any XC40s on the road?
I haven't actually.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
So I don't know how Volvo is actually doing with their electric cars.
Yeah.
and how Volvo is doing per se.
But
But the cars themselves are very
phenomenal.
good.
Yeah.
And the XC40 price, when it was launched at that price,
It was
we did say it was very good value.
They assemble it here, no?
Exactly. So we did say it was very good value. So that's also sorted.
Yeah.
Now, does Volvo have the brand kudos to draw in customers? What will this go up against? I'm just top of my head. I'm thinking about the EQB,
Yeah.
right? And I would buy this definitely over the EQB because
100%.
the EQB to me looks too much like a
I've not
van.
driven one, but yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's there.
Uh-huh.
Ingredients are there. Is the Volvo brand cool enough to command that pricing, to command that audience, to make that audience pay attention?
Their products are good. I just think they need to figure out how to capture people's. You're right. Capture people's attention.
Yeah.
Market them better. Maybe
Yeah.
a wider. What do you call it? Network. Because I remember once somebody called me up from Nagpur and said, "Should I buy a Volvo?" There's no dealership. The closest dealership was Pune for them. You know. So this was way back when, but at that point of time, the network was.
And you
limited.
do need touch points.
Yeah.
No matter what anybody says. A classic case is Citroën. Citroën, when they were going to launch, they said we're going to do phygital, so we'll have small dealerships and we won't have that many dealerships, and digital.
Yeah.
And now look at the way they're expanding their dealerships. Their dealerships are also same like Kia, big dealerships. Kia, they're doubling their dealerships. So network is, without network, you can't do business in India. You have to have a network.
But the C40 is exciting. I genuinely hope people, at least if you drive the car, you know what the product is. And I think if you drive a Volvo, you will understand why it's so good and you will bite, you know, because it does things very different from the rest of the luxury car makers. You know, the Audi, BMWs, Mercs, they're different in their own way, but they sort of fall under the same
Germanic.
class. Yeah. And they try to do a similar thing with their interiors, the concept. The Volvo with its Scandinavian design and even the approach to not even being remotely sporty. You know, they're not even pretentious about being sporty.
Except when you put your foot down, you're like, whoa!
Yeah, that's the EVs. but I'm talking about the ICE cars, you know, they're just pure luxury, pure quietness. It's a very different approach to luxury.
Like the S90, the ride comfort on that is excellent.
Yeah, and just the minimalist interior and materials. And
Even the
pore.
styling. The main thing, the styling is not aggressive.
Yeah.
It's not screaming, get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah.
You know, it's calm, it's nice,
Yeah.
it's generally happy.
Yeah.
And looking at happy cars is a very rare thing today.
Yeah.
Everything is angry.
Yeah.
Everything has got something up its bum.
That's what I wrote about the Jimny review also. The Jimny
Jimny is
doesn't-
also a happy car,
That's
right?
what, the Jimny is not
Yeah.
that aggressive, trying to be macho. It's just a chill, happy car. It looks cute.
Yeah. So, for the cost of one G400d, how many Jimnys can you buy?
Into 20? 20 Jimnys.
Yeah. Okay, moving on.
Would you rather have 20 Jimnys or 1G?
1G. Call me Wayne, whatever, but 1G.
I agree with you though. Okay. Porsche Mission X electric hypercar. Did you see that?
I saw that, and that's like going to be the next 918 Spider, for instance.
Essentially.
Right?
Yes. Same
That's
line as the...
definitely going to make it to production.
Yeah.
That's going to shatter the Nürburgring Nordschleife records. It looks cool.
Yeah.
It looks really cool.
But you know what?
It doesn't look like a Porsche
That's
to me.
exactly what I was going to say. It does not look like a Porsche.
Yeah, it could
Strangely.
be anything, right?
Yeah. Like you
the
look at...
918 looked like a Porsche.
Correct. Carrera GT looked like a Porsche.
Yeah. This doesn't look like a... doesn't have a Taycan influence also to it. So
Unless the next Cayman and whatever it is going to have a little bit of that kind of style. And by the time this comes out, Porsche will have shifted its design to that direction.
Maybe. They are smart guys, so probably they know what they're doing. But just off the top of my head, looking at those pictures, it doesn't look like a Porsche.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't even look like the LeMans car.
yeah, it could be a Rimac.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it could be any electric car, luxury.
Yeah, so I don't know, but I'm sure to drive will be unreal and
1500 bhp, 1500 kilos.
1:1.
Yeah.
So everything will shatter everything. It'll shatter your brain also. So but
you were mind blown by this thing, no? Panamera, what is that? Taycan Turbo S.
yeah, man.
Imagine this.
The first time you put your foot down in that Taycan Turbo S, it's like, oh my freaking God.
Yeah.
And halfway through,
Yeah.
your brain can't keep up. Your processing power of the brain is 100 meters behind the car, and it's only your primal survival instinct that removes your right foot off the accelerator and puts it on the brake. It's not your brain doing it. It's
Instinct.
primal survival.
Yeah. So now imagine how fast this thing is going to be.
Yeah, for this you'll have to go into a simulator. You'll have to do that buttock game and get your reactions up to speed and all that nonsense you'll have to do, because normal human being extracting the potential of a 1:1 car at 1500 bhp is
Crazy.
come on, it's not happening.
But what's your opinion of it being fully electric?
See, I'm honestly, the more I've been using electric cars, I don't really have that much of a problem.
Yeah.
And every time I say I don't have a problem and I drive a good ICE, like the Porsche that we drove, right?
Or what you're driving right now.
Or like the 8 I'm driving.
Yeah.
No, but I'm daily driving an 8. Imagine,
flex.
I can't believe I'm daily. Actually, that's not right. I'm not daily driving it because as much as I try, I can't use it every day in Pune.
Yeah.
It's too stressful. But to go to Chakan and all,
it's an upgrade from your company car at Porsche.
Yeah, my company car when I was working at Porsche was an A4.
So you moved up in life.
But an A8 fully electric is perfect, because in something like an A8 or the 7 Series, the i7, right? You want peace and quiet over and above anything else.
Correct.
And that electric motor delivers that.
Absolutely.
You also want a bit of power. Electric motor gives you more than the ICE.
Yeah.
So a 7 Series or an i7, anybody who asks me, I will tell them i7.
Correct.
There is no question about it.
Yeah.
The i7 makes so much sense. Plus, in India, you save on road tax.
Yeah.
No, even though it's a 2 crore rupee car, you save on road tax with that. So saving is saving, whether it is whatever price point.
Yeah.
So for a luxury car, electric is the way to go. For a city car, also electric is the way to go. Because again, in the city, you're stuck in traffic. So you want that ease of driving an electric car, no noise, just crank up your music and great.
Yeah.
But for a Sunday, what do you want?
You want a fun engine.
You want a manual M2, right?
Yeah.
You want a manual GT4.
Yeah.
That's when you're feeding the passions that burn inside you. That's when you're giving life to that 8-year-old inside you. And for that, an ICE works better than an EV.
Yeah.
An EV will give you acceleration. It'll give you overtaking punch. It'll give you effortlessness. It'll give you everything. But that...
So coming back to my question, this Porsche hypercar is not going to be your luxury car, neither is it going to be your city car. So what's your opinion of it being EV?
Well, I'm never going to be able to afford one also, so I don't give a rat's. But see, my opinion on it is that it is going to set the expectations of performance cars of the future.
Yeah.
Something has to set a yardstick. The LA Ferrari, the 918, the McLaren, it all came P1, it all came around the same time.
Yeah.
And that set the benchmark for what ICE and hybrid ICE was capable of. And then everything else for the next decade was judged against that.
Correct.
So the Mission, whatever, X will set the benchmark for whatever the future will be benchmarked against.
Yeah.
Now, moving on that future is going to be, I don't think that difficult. Like Rimac is already doing an insane job.
Yeah.
The Bugatti, when it comes electric, whatever, it'll do something insane. The Batista is already there doing insane stuff. It's got the guts of a Rimac.
Lotus has something.
Lotus
heavier.
has. So that can be moved ahead very quickly. But yeah, it will set like a pole in the sand that, okay, this is one of the markers for that era. And then everything for the next, not decade, maybe 5 years will be judged basis that. So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I was just hoping, I mean, Porsche, as you know, as most people know, is a big investor in e-fuel. So I would have liked to see their hypercar espousing an e-fuel concept. I don't know. But
so e-fuels today are very expensive.
Yeah, but then that car is also ridiculously expensive, no? So what difference does it
But
make
an
to
e-fuel can be put into your manual Slavia and you'll
Correct.
get your fuel
but
efficiency
if
also.
they're championing that cause, I would have liked...
So the e-fuels are going to go into the Porsche Cup series.
Yeah. And Formula One.
And Formula One also. So what I see Porsche will do is that the next Cayman is going to be electric.
Yeah.
So they will have a single make electric series for the next generation Caymans, which will be a feeder series for the 911 Cup.
Yeah.
The 911 Cup will remain combustion engine because the 911 is God in the Porsche universe.
Yeah.
So they're not going to screw around with the 911 until they really, really have to do something to it.
Yeah.
They will do everything for the rest of the range. So the next Cayenne is going to be electric. The next
Macan
Macan is going to be
yeah.
electric. The next Cayman is going to be electric. The 911 will be the last to transition.
Because how do you have a rear engine electric car?
You can
Put your batteries in the boot.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
So what they will have is that the 911 Cup will have e-fuels and the feeder series will be the electric Caymans, which will have electricity.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's the Mission X.
Yeah. And leading on from the Mission X, it has LeMans style doors. Let's talk about LeMans.
LeMans. How exciting has it been?
It was an insane race.
And to see Ferrari finally winning something.
Yeah.
I'm sure Charles Leclerc, he was in the pits and he was like,
I don't drive for them.
Formula 1. But, so it's great to see Ferrari back on top. Obviously, there was that whole thing around the balance of performance and Toyota being slapped with extra weight.
And the regulations changing 1 week before with the tire warmers and all of that.
Not much transparency in why that was done.
Yeah.
It's obviously so the whole balance of performance is there to even up the field.
Yes.
So if somebody's winning, they'll be slapped with extra weight. So bring down their performance so that everything is more or less close so that fans like us get to watch great
closer racing basically.
Right? But also the fact is that manufacturers are competing to win. And if somebody makes a faster car, it's not fair that they are slapped with extra penalty. If they have made an extra effort or if they have found a loophole or if they've used their brain a little bit more.
Toyota's been investing for so many years in endurance racing.
And, I feel sad for them because they've been bajawed recently because they're saying that, you won Le Mans for the past 5 years running.
None of that is real wins. And
real rivalry.
I saw comments
now there is a real rival and you've not been able to win.
Correct.
It's not fair.
Absolutely unfair.
Toyota are in there not just to win, but to blood the next generation of engineers.
Yes.
In fact, the new Toyota president, he said that they are in Le Mans for the whole R&D that it delivers for the next generation of road cars.
And he said we're setting the tone for the next 100 years.
Exactly.
He said something along those lines.
So they don't viewing racing as mere marketing, which other manufacturers do view it as, which is great. And you want more manufacturers with that kind of mindset to be there in racing because that delivers sustainable racing.
And it shows they've put their money where their mouth is. They've participated despite that LMP1 class being dead over the last year, despite the fact that they knew what people are going to say about them, that they have their wins are empty wins or whatever. They've been pushing for their own reasons, which is great. You know?
So kudos to Toyota and full respect to them. It was very, very close until Rio Hirakawa, right? Is his name? Rio, whatever. He made a mistake and he spun off and all of that. But the racing was really close, really tight. What surprised me was that Porsche weren't right up there.
Even I was surprised by that.
Right? Because you would think that Porsche will come and start hammering everybody, especially with their reputation, especially with what they did with Audi.
And they're the most successful at Le Mans historically.
So they know Le Mans, they know endurance racing. Ferrari's been out of it for 50 years. So for them, what data do they have? They have no data. Porsche still have data from the time that they were winning at Le Mans. So I was surprised that they are not. And the grid was like most of them, LMP1, were Porsches. They had their factory cars, they had their private teams. So they also had what I think was the coolest livery.
Yes.
The butterfly. I think it was a very cool livery. Of course, red is red and Ferrari red is Ferrari red. But I think that butterfly livery was very cool. Peugeot, I don't think too many people expected them to win. In between, they were actually leading.
Surprising.
Yeah, Cadillac was surprising. Of course, they caused the first crash within the first couple of minutes into the.
But they finished
race.
third.
But they finished third. Third
and fourth.
So Cadillac, Peugeot. I don't think anybody really expected those cars to win. But Porsche not being up there was
even I was very surprised. Very surprised. But entertaining race, and I think after a long time, like even I've not been paying attention to Le Mans for the last few years because like it's been an empty top class of racing,
because
right? So
you're cheering for Toyota, but Toyota are competing against whom?
you're
It's
not cheering for
Toyota's fault.
anyone. You're not cheering for anyone because there's no competition.
Yep.
You know, you're saying, okay, Toyota's going to win LMP1. If
Yeah.
they don't win overall, then they've really fucked up. You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, the race had no real competition at the top level. The GT E classes were obviously buzzing, you know, but at the top level there was nothing. And this year to go and watch it, I paid whatever $1,200 to watch on the WEC app, you know, but it was good to watch. You know, whenever I had a little bit of time in the day, I'd tune in. Oh, this has happened. Oh, that has happened. Scroll back a little bit, watch some of the crashes. Scroll ahead a little bit. It was good fun to watch. I think it was. Nice.
Endurance racing has come back, and how?
Yeah, absolutely.
That hypercar category has really done its job. Centenary year of Le Mans,
100%.
and it's had one of the best races in
next year. There are going to be even more cars,
even more manufacturers. So I think that's great, and following endurance racing is going to be the next thing.
GT3 cars are also coming back.
GT3 cars are coming back. So overall, I think endurance racing is looking
good,
very healthy.
Good.
And speaking of endurance racing, we are planning something really cool on the endurance space. So watch this space. Can't say anything more.
Much more than that right now. Okay, what's next? Xtreme 160R 4V.
The fastest to 60.
Yes.
That's what they've been claiming.
And USD Fox.
USD Fox?
Yeah. So they
not US dollar Fox, upside down Fox.
They basically updated the Xtreme with what they're calling a new engine. Basically, it's a 4-valve engine, but apparently there are comprehensive updates to the engine. And that's taken up the price also a little bit. I think it's the most expensive motorcycle in its class now. The top end is 1.37 lakhs for the Pro variant. But 0 to 60, as you said, 4.7 seconds, you know, which is quick. And yeah, it's in a exciting class. I mean, that's the sporty end of the commuter segment, you know. You're looking at the likes of the Bajaj Pulsar NS. You're looking at the likes of the Apache, which actually has that segment down. And this is going to be an interesting approach from Hero. We've ridden the bike. Our review should be up on the website very soon. So watch out for that.
Yeah, and it also shows that now Hero are making steps towards premiumization.
Yes.
Going a little bit more into the desirable categories. They always made very sensible motorcycles. But
and even in the space, when the Xtreme came out, it was sitting at the bottom end of that class. I mean, it had the looks and everything, but within that sporty segment commuter, it was at the most affordable end and offering the most value also. Yeah. But now they're pushing.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's going to be a lot of action from Hero.
Yeah.
So next is going to be the Harley Davidson, the X440.
Yeah.
Then they're going to have the Charisma.
Yeah.
The Charisma is going to be back. So a lot of action from Hero, and all in that higher-ish end segment. Yeah. So it bodes well for enthusiast bikers in the country.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's it for News of the Week this week. Thank you so much for staying with us. Again, it's been a while since Sirish and I have done one of these podcast-like things, but we'll be back with them more often.
And next weeks are going to be really, really packed with content.
A lot of cars.
July has got the Exter, it's got the Q8 e-tron drive, it's got the SL, it's got the Bajaj Triumph motorcycle.
Yeah. This Harley, what you just
the Harley motorcycle. Yeah. What else? There's more coming up. The GLC. Spy pictures are out on the GLC. We didn't talk about that.
Official spy pictures.
Official spy pictures. Yeah. So a friend of mine spotted the GLC on the way to Lonavala. He sent me pictures. I posted it on my Instagram. And the next day, we got official images from Mercedes-Benz of the same GLC. That is coming in matter of weeks.
Yeah.
Matter of weeks means in a month.
Yeah.
In a month, we're going to have the new GLC in India. So a lot to take in next week. So stay tuned.